What types of lab or diagnostic tests or markers are component healthy weight of weight loss or weight gain during this phase of life?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty common question that we get from our one-on-one consultation clients who are preparing to go see their doctor. One of the things is perimenopause. There's other disease processes that can mimic perimenopause. So it really behooves the provider or the physician to make sure to rule out some of those disease processes. So, for example, getting a thyroid panel would be warranted just to make sure there's nothing going on with the thyroid. Thyroid disease, that process some of those symptoms can very much mimic perimenopausal symptoms. So making sure that the thyroid panel looks good, checking your insulin and your glucose, so your HbA1c would also be warranted. Your cortisol levels, your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels would be a great suggestion. A lipid panel, so checking your cholesterol, total cholesterol, your happy cholesterol or your HDL, and then your LDL, your not so good cholesterol. Vitamin D would also be another one. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone. I don't know why it was called vitamin D, but it is. And something that I see frequently with my clients is that vitamin D hormone is one of the first hormones to start to fall off when they enter perimenopause. And when you have vitamin D deficiencies, you can be really tired. You might have some brain fog, you might have some joint pain. So making sure that your vitamin D levels are adequate. And then of course, checking a complete metabolic panel, so a CMP, to look at your electrolytes, and your liver panel and your liver function. And then also, if you're somebody who's having really heavy periods, which is quite frequent in perimenopause, is to get a CBC or a complete blood panel so that you can check for anemia and rule out any anemia issues, because that can cause fatigue and also weight gain. The one thing that I want to say, though, about labs is during perimenopause, all of those things can come back and be within normal limits. However, you as a person are not feeling healthy and well, and you can't quite pinpoint what it is. You don't know what it is. And then you go into your doctor and you say, I want to get all these labs because I'm feeling, maybe you know a little bit about perimenopause. Maybe you feel like this is perimenopause for you. And then you go and the labs come back and the results are all within normal limits. And that can be really discouraging. I mean, it's obviously great. You don't want anything to be wrong, but it's not answering the questions that you might have. So I would exercise caution when you get those lab results, and don't give up, and don't keep going down the road. Let's see what is actually going on. In particular with estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, those can absolutely come back as normal, but you're experiencing the perimenopausal symptoms. So if the thyroid panel looks good and the insulin is good and the cortisol is good and all the other ones are great, typically a provider will say, okay, we've ruled out all of these possibilities based on your symptoms. It looks to me and sounds to me like you are in perimenopause, so let's move forward with a plan of action to address that.